guys, it's me, here today to discuss the second song from I cannot say this line. This is like the third time I'm trying to say this line. This is the second episode of my opus. This is the second, oh my god. Second song of the cycle. 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 So, we are here today to discuss the second song of... I can't say. All right, song number 2 from Schumann's Opus 39 Liederkreis. We're going to talk about it. Actually, what's interesting is that the song itself is entitled Intermezzo, but Eichendorff's original poem was entitled Andenken, which means like remembrance or souvenir, in memory, that kind of thing. But Schumann himself retitled it to be an intermezzo. It's interesting to think that he sort of perceived of this as a linking passage between In der Fremde and then the following song, which is Waldesgespräch, which I am so excited to talk about next time. It's like probably one of my all-time favorite Schumann songs. But anyway, today we're talking about Intermezzo. So a couple of things. This poem is very, very short. I mean, all of these songs are super compact, but the poem itself is only 8 lines, I believe. 8 lines. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 8. I was correct. Just want to make sure. It's only 8 lines, and the poem is written in a very folk-like style. It doesn't have any fancy constructs, no really complex grammar. It's just very simple. But what Schumann does with this is he elevates it 2 different ways. The first way is that he has the piano function a bit independently of the voice. So you'll hear that throughout, that these syncopations that we'll talk about in a minute, they don't really line up so well between the voice and the piano. So that sort of elevates it, that kind of going back and forth. So it's not so simple as it could possibly be set. The second way that Schumann elevates the poem is by de-emphasizing the final accented syllables of the first and third line within each stanza. So, I mean, if you have an ear to listen for that, great, and if not, cool, totally fine, but it's an interesting thing to see how Schumann dealt with the language there and how he didn't allow this thing to be so simple and folk-like, but ended up imbuing it with a bit more artistry and creativity. Another thing that Schumann does with the text and changing up the text is that after the second verse, he actually does a repeat of the first verse again. That's not in Eichendorff's original poem. The original poem is truly just the 8 lines, so it's just 2 different stanzas. In that third verse, actually, he brings in an extra line of counterpoint with the left hand. So we feel the world sort of opening up even a little bit more than it's already been opened throughout the course of the song. You'll find that this text, well, maybe I should read you the text since I haven't done that yet. The translation of the text, it says, "Your wonderfully blessed image I have in the depths of my heart, and it looks so fresh and happily at me every hour. My heart quietly in itself sings an old beautiful song, and then into the air it soars, and to you hurriedly moves." So we start by talking about how we have this image of our beloved internally in our heart, and it's a very inward, intimate sort of thing. But then we go from this inward sort of reflection to this outward expression where it's just too much. We sing quietly to ourselves, but then it's too much that it must soar up into the air and hurriedly rushes to the beloved. The general thought is that, you know, we go from something that's a little bit more internal, and then it kind of blossoms and blooms, and I hate that I just used those words, but those are the only words that come to mind. It's very much this awakening and then sort of outpouring. I imagine a flower doing this sort of blooming type of thing, or I imagine, what's another thing in nature that does this? I don't know. It's a really, really beautiful sentiment, and the way that Schumann sets this, it starts just very simply. It's all very, very self-contained. We just have this one A major chord. so gorgeous, right? And then we do all of these sort of wanderings around. There's a bit of chromaticism in this piece throughout. As we talked about, there's this syncopation that sort of makes it a little bit more complex and elevates it. And by the end, we really feel that we've been forced to kind of cast our gaze upwards. The very first thing that the right hand plays are these little, and these, even though we're talking about the inwardness of the image in our heart, I still think that those are little kind of pinpoints of maybe starlight or something that's up above us. I can see a dog hair hanging off of me. So yeah, I'll play those for you. Dein Bild ist wunderselig, hab ich im Herzensgrund. So all those little right-hand pinpoints of sound, while I'm feeling this very internal, intimate moment, I'm still aware that there's something on the outside that's going to draw this inward intimacy outwards. Not sure exactly how one portrays that with their fingers, but yeah, I try my best. I think, as with so many of these things with coaching, it really comes down to a matter of, you know, if you've done all of this groundwork of thinking through the piece and contemplating different meanings, that sort of intention really does translate into a performance. The audience might not necessarily know that you've thought specifically those thoughts, but they'll know you intend something, and if you're successful, hopefully they'll feel that. Okay, so a couple of things in the song itself. The tempo is marked langsam. So if you think of langsam, a slow tempo, I'm thinking something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now these first chords that come in, we don't know if they're quarter notes, eighth notes. We don't know if they're on the beat or off the beat. And we only get 3 of them before the vocalist comes in. So if we're thinking of our slow 1, 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a, which can actually feel a little bit fast. So I find this, I don't know, just this kind of paradox here, always a little bit challenging to grapple with, because I typically want to play the song slower, I think, than langsam would actually be. I think if I was just starting out, I had no idea what the time signature was, I'd probably start somewhere around here. Which, as you'll find out if you play it that slow, it's really too slow for the rest of the piece. So just a couple of things to keep in mind as you're choosing your tempo and you're trying to decide exactly what pace you're going to take it at. Be aware that it is marked langsam, not sehr langsam, just langsam. So I would recommend, subdividing the pianist. This is really for the pianist. So 1 E and 2 E and that sort of thing. Now, on this note of syncopations, the syncopations are what make this song so incredible. Again, if you're a pianist, I highly, highly recommend singing this song along with the accompaniment, because you'll hear and you'll get a much better sense for what the difficulties are regarding the offbeat, literally the offbeat nature of the piano accompaniment with the voice. There's this one part where it goes nach und nach, schneller und schneller, so like faster and faster, bit by bit, a little bit faster and faster. And I have this book I've been reading through. This is Singing Schumann by Richard Miller. And he says about this, this passage, it's where the text says, Mein Herz still in sich singet, ein altes schönes Lied. What he says about that is, completion of the accelerando at the conclusion of section B with und zu dir eilig zieht, and its relaxation into a ritardando engender one of the most memorable manifestations of movement, relaxation, and emotional recovery in all the Lied literature. And it's true. If you pace this section, I'll play it for you in a little bit. If you pace it just right, the final climax is so thrilling, and then the relaxation afterwards, it's just a really stunning and fun thing to play. Really cool to craft. But again, if you're a pianist and you haven't tried singing that yourself, highly recommend. Okay, so I'll just sing you a little bit, play and sing you a little bit of that. This is gonna sound terrible, but anyway, that sounds like this. Mein Herz still in sich singet I didn't do that well. Mein Herz still in sich singet ein altes, schönes Lied, das in die Luft sich schwinget und zu dir eilig zieht. Dein Bildnis Wunde. And then I'll leave the rest for all the singers out there. I love that spot. It's great. So much fun to play and sing. Hello? What just happened? No. I just deleted my note that has all of my writing about Lieder on it. Wait, no. Just kidding. Guys, my heart just fell through the ground. Ooh, what just happened? Where did it go? Why did it disappear? And
why is it back?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't care. I'm just glad that it's here. I have like literally so much written down here. And I just thought I deleted it all. Okay, that was terrifying. Anyway, moving on. Little tidbit for the singers here. I mean, and also pianists. Both need to be aware of this, but I find that sometimes you just have to take a little bit of care to make sure that das sieht, that there's enough time to get the s and the z out. So pianists, make sure you're listening to that. Vocalists, be aware that that's something you should take care to craft. Anytime I have two S's next to each other, not necessarily in the same word, but maybe one's a final S and it's a s, and then the next one is a initial S, so it's a z or a sh. You want to make sure that you're taking the time to finish the first word, so in this case, das, and then fully articulate the z of the next word. And in this case, it's sieht, das sieht. And this happens twice, which is why I bring it up, because I feel like it's even more important the second time. Das sieht, so frisch und fröhlich. And then at the end, after we've experienced this gorgeous moment of outward expression, we have this beautiful postlude that just like, what the heck? It's so gorgeous. I'll play it for you. That wasn't the most awesome I've ever played it, but there's lots to tend to in there. So it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 6 bars, but watch out. Little things like this can really, really come back to haunt you while you're on stage. So really take the care to make sure that you know exactly what's going on there. In this score, it also looks a little, it's visually like a lot to digest. Some of these lines, like the way that they break between the hands, it's just visually there's a lot going on. So you really want to make sure you take the time to listen to the individual lines, play them, and just have fun experimenting with them, creating different sounds, and then, you know, hopefully all of that work will serve you well then when you go to perform it, you know, either on stage or for recording or what have you. Don't just wing it. Never wing it in a Schumann postlude. Take it from someone who's tried. Okay, well, I think this has been a wild and wacky time of thinking I deleted my notes, playing postludes not so well, and singing really terribly. If you have any ideas or any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them. I'm hoping that you find these coaching/teaching sessions informative. Definitely another little gem of the repertoire. It's absolutely a stunning piece. There's lots in it. So have fun practicing, have fun performing, and let me know if you have any questions. See you next time, nerds!